Helleg wants me to retrieve the grimoire to settle an old debt. He's confident that it's been locked away by Moedred, an Enmancer at Brackenberry Sanitarium, and Helleg's old rival. Brackenberry Sanitarium is here. We are still in the catacombs of Copper Lane. I'll go visit there soon enough. But right now we are still in the catacombs.
Slow and silent.
And I would like to look through the rest of this place if we can. I will definitely be practicing my mechanical skills more. Another corpse. This one has a pistol.
Found something.
Trap. 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 Too late. Don't step on it. Back away. Oh.
Point the way.
That was awful. Let me go first. I don't know if we can fight anymore down here.
I shall be discreet.
Almost took off my arm. I can still scout ahead, though.
Found something.
Oh, I will scout ahead and almost die. That's it. I'm done here. Let's go to the fox and the goose. I'm barely standing. Hopefully we won't encounter anything on our way out. These traps. These catacombs are quite extensive. You asked me for one and I said no, not until you're older and more responsible. Do you remember this conversation? Gordy's eyes are fixed on the ground in front of him. Yes, sir. And yet I find you out here, playing with a blade that clearly belongs to the knights. Do you see the problem? I didn't steal it, honest. I traded a secret for it. He points at me. Ask him. Hammer turns to me. Is this what my son is what he says true? He wants to be a crucible knight. I thought it'd be a good way to get him started in an honorable profession. Stares at me for a moment, then shakes his head. Well, I still don't approve of my boy having a weapon, but I'm glad he's no thief. You can keep the blade, but I'll be holding on to it until you're a squire with the knights. Come along, Gordy. Won't have you loitering out here all day. Well, that went better than I thought it would. Now, to the Goose and Fox we go. The most unfortunate tale of Favia and Bernat, a Valian tragedy. Scene. Leia watches Bernat approach Favia's tree, looking for her human form. Leia, behold, now comes the fun, that for which I have waited. His love is forfeit, her life is forfeit, and all I have worked toward shall be fulfilled. He says he knows his love. He says no force in the world could keep him from her. But what chance has force against guile? Never will he find his love, for she is no longer his love. The spell cannot be undone except by her death, and by then it will be too late. But wait, he has seen her. Leia steps back to observe. Favia, pray, mortal, why have you come here? These woods are not for your kind. The affairs of men have no place at this tree. Leave ere the welcome lapses. Bernat, foul creature, where is my love? What have you done with her? Always this has been the station for our encounters. Never before have I seen you. Where is my love? Answer ere my patient lapses. Favia, fool. This is my land and this is my tree. Your presence never before has been felt. Again I say to you, leave. My generosity will not be extended a third time. Leia steps forward again. Leia, talk? Discussion? I know the way to hurry the conclusion of this tale. Leia takes a breath and extends her throat as if she's yelling. A scream comes from the copse of trees where the Pigwa stands. Bernat, my love. Bernat steps forward, brandishing his sword. Bernat, prepare yourself, wretch, for not even death can stand between me and my love. I will have her from you, or I will meet your end, or you will meet your end. Bernat moves toward Favia, who closes to fight. They fight. During the fight, Bernat is grievously injured as he delivers the killing blow to Favia. She falls to the ground, and as she dies, the spell on her breaks, transforming her back into her Delimgan form. Favia, Bernat, Bernat, my love, what have you done to me? What was it I said? What was it I did? Has our love soured in your heart? Bernat. Favia, my love, my life, what foul sorcery has befallen you? How have you come to be laid low by my hand? Fie! Fie to the gods for such treachery! Fie to all those who stood in our way. Favia, fear not, my beloved, for now we are together, and together will always be. Nothing can keep us apart. But, lo, why is it suddenly so dark? Where has the sun gone? Where are you? I cannot see you. I will find you, I will... Favia dies. Bernat, a curse upon the fiend who has betrayed me, to hold love in your hand and have it wrenched away. Bernat winces and puts his hand in his shirt. It comes out covered in blood. Bernat, what luck, what chance! Tragedy may yet turn to fortune. Favia, my love, soon I will rest in your arms. We will lie together again as one, and forever shall we be side by side. I go now to meet my love, Barath. I accept your cold embrace. I welcome your company. I beg your mercy. Bernat lies down next to Favia's body. Bernat, I am ready. Bernat dies. Leia steps out from her hiding spot and runs to Bernat's body. Leia, Bernat, you fool, you wretch! How can you leave me? I am alone. I am forgotten. I am cast out. Without your love, how can I continue? Life holds no thrall without your visage upon which I may gaze. What shall I do? But here, my salvation, my answer. Leia picks up Bernat's sword. Leia, his blade, his weapon. I shall be impaled upon him, and he shall cut through me. I will not be denied my love. I will not be denied my love. You will be mine, if not in this life, then in the next. Leia impales herself on the sword. Leia, I come for you, my love, Bernat. Wait for me, and I will find you. We shall love forever. Leia dies. That is a most unfortunate tragedy. I actually didn't like that. Something that scene that is done by the something said in a play.
You merely hide.
Can I pet him anyway?
Don't pawn
It's
your
your hand.
personal problems
I'm
off
gonna
on
pet
me.
him.
They will use you, cast you off when it suits them. Never
Yeah.
speak another word to you.
Maybe they just don't answer to fiery whore.
A couple of conversations going on between my companions. Alright, well, I think we should leave, actually. Let's go to Cad Nua. I do believe it's important that we return. It's going to take almost a day to get home. If I can call it. We're on the eastern side of Cad Nua. See what the steward has to say. We've returned.
I trust all is well. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
What is the state of the keep? People are starting to notice your hard work. I dare say we'll have more visitors shortly. I'm glad you decided to stay on, my lord. It's been difficult watching this place tumble into decay time and again. To see it restored is, I can imagine the great crowds, the petitioners, music, perhaps in the evenings. Oh, I've gotten carried away, haven't I? Here's the report. Well, okay. Somebody has to stay. Kana, you're very capable. Yeah, Kana, you can stay. Off he went. I'm not sure how long it will take him. But we can go spend a night. Let's go rest. I awake to see Durance, his staff held in both of his hands before him. A flame flickers at its top end, casting long shadows across his face as he stares in contemplation. Still, for all the light of the fire, your eyes can't focus on him. Perhaps it's awakening for sleep, or a trick of the light, but he seems indistinct, blurred around the edges, everything except for the staff. The staff. He seems to be studying its engravings. As I watch, the engravings glow thinly red, like through the cracks of heat-suffused wood. The lines stream like molten metal, burning along the edges of his staff, then branch out in an intricate series of fiery veins, bunching thickly where his hands clutch the wood, pulsing as if a heartbeat. As I watch, the veins spiral into a dozen separate circles, circles that spiral again until they are arranged in a circle of their own. They pulse, wait, and all is strangely silent, and then suddenly there is a great light from the fire, a rushing of air, a great flash, and I awaken again to see Durance in the same place, still holding his staff, but he is solid, real. He doesn't seem to have noticed me or reacted to what occurred. What just took place? Though I felt your eyes on me, now come the words. I had questions I want to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
I saw something strange. You were sitting by the fire and I saw a great light from your staff.
Tell me what you saw.
It was like a flash, like an explosion, a rushing of air, incredibly bright.
It is the light of the Godhammer you saw.
The one that killed Wadwin?
It was a weapon of Deerwood's people, a symbol of their independence. It saved the Deerwood.
What do you know about it?
It brought the Saints' War to an end, knocked a god from his perch. There are few that would deny Eothas overstepped. The Godhammer reminded Eothas of it.
So you're saying he was really the voice of Eothas?
You saw its light because I helped shape it, give it life, and release it into the world. Once seen, its glory is almost too bright to be believed, and too bright to be forgotten.
You helped build the Godhammer?
There were 12 of us. We fashioned the weapon, drafted plans for it, prayed for guidance at Ashfall, and it came to me there. Each of us were given a staff made from the forest of black trees around us, glowing with embers and fire far greater than this branch you see now.
You were one of the original dozens. The one that so many people in Defiance Bay claim to be a member of?
It felt as if the staff was Magran's own finger, guiding my hand, guiding the other 11, the shadows of the 12 who would come to stand on the bridge to stop Eothas.
So it was God versus God at that moment. I also saw a dozen bright circles emerging from your staff as well.
Even in that stand, there was a ritual to it. For the 12 that stood on the bridge, there were a dozen shadows cast, a dozen faithful of Magran, her fiercest supporters and shapers of the Godhammer.
Durance rests the staff in front of him, and the flame atop it curls for a moment, the light flaring slightly. It spits into a ring of flames, one after the other, until a dozen is met.
As 12 held Eothas fast, we 12 unleashed our prayers and let the Godhammer fall.
Then it blossoms brightly, once, and resumes its candle intensity. In the aftermath, the shadows seem sharper in the vicinity, as if they have edges, and you blink to clear your vision. Durance is still staring at the tiny candle-like flame intently.
Shadows cast by the fire of the Godhammer, perhaps. We shared their fate as well in time. Now the spine of the Deerwood is marked by the Godhammer, marked by Magran.
Durance frowns and moves his gaze from the staff. What do you mean, shared their fate?
Not all deaths come with stilled breath and stilled heart, or other stilled passions beneath the waste. Some deaths come from silence. The connection we once shared with Magran. After the light of the Godhammer, it was not the same. It was as if we'd lost our senses, and sense of purpose as well. Instead of victory, being welcomed, there was silence, within and without. Not many can claim to have killed a god. It is less a heroic tale than you would think. And such a death, it changed our faith. All faiths, I expect. Doubt followed, and the world changed. I do not believe Magran was pleased by what we had done.
Didn't he give you the power to do it, though? Why was he not happy?
The world is broken, the wheel stilled. There is sickness in the world's heart. Perhaps the price of crossing a god. Crossing two gods. Even as Magran shaped our hands, perhaps we carried her will farther than was allowed. Just as Widewind did. Saint Widewind. Mortal arrogance to match mortal arrogance. Yet if the world had changed, then I sought to change with it. If I had forgotten some of Magran's teachings, I would find them again. I would make her see me again.
What did you do?
I remembered Magran's teachings. How reminders on the flesh were more important than the death of a vessel. And I wondered if killing Aethys, if that had simply set him free. Had it allowed him to escape his punishment and be taken on the wheel? Like a mortal? As I stepped from the now blessed Godhammer bridge, I thought of Ashfall. I thought of the War of Black Trees. Wondered if I needed to be burned to find myself again. That is Magran at her heart. At least that is my hope. These are the doubts that befall me.
What happened when you returned to Ashfall?
The road to Ashfall is long. Gives one time to think. And if you think long enough, you do not go home. I left without telling anyone, with only the robes I wore at Halgot, my staff, and my name, which is long buried. Of my fellow 11 craftsmen, disciples, I know not what happened to them, if they suffered the same doubt as I did. But it was underserved. It was wrong. We had done all that, or had asked. Grab victory from defeat and...
You feel as if your god has betrayed you?
There is something about being used and cast aside. Perhaps Widewen himself felt it. There at the end, when the hammer struck. To be the proof that your god is hollow as the vessel it inhabits. I tried to find purpose, and avoided all contact with other Magranic priests. Did not seek the walls of Ashfall, and sought to make amends to my god through actions. I joined with the Purges for a time, and not long after came the first signs of the Hollowborn. So many crimes, trespasses, violations. The Salvation. Animancers were another sickness born of the Saints' War. A relapse of innovation, of desperation to heal what we had caused. All seemed worse than before the bridge, not better. And as years passed, the world became even worse still for the victory.
Now I see why you call your goddess a whore. She jilted you, and you still pine for her. Sweat collects in the sooty creases of his forehead and runs down his ruddy cheeks. It drips from the tip of his nose. His mouth moves, but his utterances make no sound. He is, for once, at a loss. Feeling your gaze, he quickly composes himself, wiping his forehead with the back of a dirty hand.
Worship the whims of some fickle bitch, and you'll never be more than dirt beneath her feet. Worship what she worships, on the other hand. Take her fire for your own, and her esteem comes on its own. Of course, by that time you no longer need it. Trial and transformation, sure as Durance taught.
He glares at me, and staring into his eyes gives me the feeling of peering over the edge of a great cliff.
You think to put the coals to my feet, but what's burned once will never burn again. These talks are your trial, Watcher. You cannot deflect the truth to one who has already been purified by it.
Tell me what happened on the bridge. We chose the bridge because we could control it. Durance's hands tightened at the top of his staff, as if holding it by the neck. It was a place where we could choke Aothis in his own footsteps, where we knew his feet would fall, a narrow neck of stone. But it was more than that. It was the spine of the deerwood, symbolic of its backbone. Such symbols are important in the construction of a weapon. Durance studies his staff, and his eyes traveling along the etchings. Any weapon. Durance's face hardens, and his eyes burn, his eyebrows narrowing. I suspect Aothis knew that as well, and so did his vessel, in its arrogance. His hand tightens on the staff. He intends to walk upon the bridge, as if walking on the backs of the deerwood, and we intended to burn him with the light of our faith, and his, 12 on the bridge, 12 in the shadow, and give ourselves to it. You gave yourselves to it?
We put much of ourselves into the Godhammer. Such a device is not simply a machine. There are elements of the spirit in it. Even Widewind's spirit.
Widewind, why?
We all studied Widewind. He was our enemy, and he had provided the flesh the god wore as a cloak. That flesh made him vulnerable. I knew what fields his hands had tilled, his family, what he had harvested, where he had been born. We sought to know him, what had led him to fight us.
Why was that important?
You don't kill the god. You kill the man it inhabits. And you leave that man a ruin. Burn him to ash. The weapon was meant to not only burn his flesh, but it would burn his soul. And it did. At the cost of our own. And at the cost of our goddess's favor. That whore be damned.
Is that why your image was blurred in the dream? He frowns, glances at me with a sharp look. Perhaps your eyes were blinded by the Godhammer's light, Watcher. He snorts. I may feel half a man at times, but even that is twice that of most others.
If you fear for my spirit, your fears are baseless. The Godhammer, seeing its light, only fueled my anger and made me stronger. Made me re-examine the teachings of Magran. Put them in a new light.
It looked as if there was only part of you, as if your spirit had been sheared in half.
I do not need you to cast any more questions on me, Watcher. Nor did I ask you to look upon me without my leave. Get gone, and leave me be.
It's a strange old man. You were there at my bedside when I woke.
Sure.
All right, there's much to do.